Every day we're hustling, 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 hustling horsepower.
Hey guys, like most other companies, Viking Performance is having a price increase on their products. Shocks, coilovers, struts. If you're interested in something, get a hold of us before January 1st to lock in your pricing. Here's a list of some of the other companies we are dealers for, including Race-Equip Safety Gear, Hughes Performance, Transmissions and Converters, Stainless Works Exhaust, XS Power Batteries, Optic Armor Performance Windows, and a few others. We genuinely appreciate your support. Y'all are keeping this journey going, and it means a whole lot to us.
Hey guys, welcome back to Hustling Horsepower. Today, what's on the agenda? We're gonna run over to Jan-Cen Motorsports, Mike Janis Jr., all those guys, and we're gonna head over there. And we picked up some crankshafts from some friends of ours over up in Canada. Now, up in Canada, I guess it's all over the place, but up in Canada, they have a lot of these factory cranks that are pretty dang strong. They're cross-drilled and nitrated, so they're pretty very strong crank. Now, in a blower application, the blower drives off the crankshaft, right? There's a pulley on the front of the crankshaft that you're trying to spin the blower with, right? So the crank is trying to essentially twist. You're trying to snap the snout off of it. That's why, in like, let's say a small block Chevy blower cam, companies like Crower and some other companies, a lot of companies actually, make a small block crankshaft with a big block Chevy snout on it, which is, so you'd run basically like a big block Chevy style hub on it, where the balancer goes and stuff like that, because it's a lot stronger there, okay? Now, where am I going with this? Yeah. So, in a turbo application, we're not trying to twist the snout off the crank, right? The crankshaft's more along for the ride, and you got even pressures on both sides, and you don't have that twisting action nearly as much. Especially with the blower, it's all the way off the front of the motor, correct? So, in a blower application, I know people that have ran these cranks at 1,800, 2,000 horsepower. Now, you can't leave the cranks in there for a long period of time, but I got these cranks for $300 a piece, okay? Don't get me wrong, we got some nice stuff in our cars. We have some high-dollar parts in our cars. But we're also very economical in the way we have to do this, okay? There's ways that you could be economical and not cheap. There's a big difference between being frugal and being cheap, okay? Being cheap, you're going to run into a whole lot more issues. But if you're frugal and you're knowledgeable enough and you understand certain things, there's ways that you can save money and accomplish either the same goal or very similar to the same goal. So, I got a couple crankshafts from those guys up in Canada, and we're going to drop those off at Jan-Cen so we can start working on that motor that I was starting to put together before we lost the homegrown Hustler. Now, we also have some merchandise here. In the last video, I made a little, I did a shout out, or I don't know, kind of reaching out to some families that, some less fortunate families that have some kids in the, some less fortunate kids, right? If you knew of a kid, or even then, if you see this video today and you know of a kid that's less fortunate, we won't be able to get it out in time for Christmas, but we're gonna donate some shirts out to some less fortunate families. So I got some merchandise over here in the passenger seat and in the back seat that we're gonna send out to those people. And there's another one. I'll say it. We do this stuff all the time, so I'll say it. I won't say it all the time because that's not what this is about. But we also have some merchandise that there was a lady that said, hey, my husband, he watches all of your YouTube videos. I don't have enough money this week to get the shirt, but can I reserve one because they were pre-order shirts, correct? So she was like, hey, can you order one and can you give me a couple weeks to pay for it? So hey, we said yeah, and we said don't worry about the money for the shirt, the hoodie. We'll get some out. So we've found out her size and her husband's size, and we got a couple hoodies to send out to them as well. Okay, and now the reason why I'm saying this is because it's not to give like ourselves a pat on the shoulder, right? But we appreciate the support from everyone. Now, everyone's in a different position, and on this journey, like, our journey is not easy, right? Like, me and Maddie, we didn't come from money. Like, we bust our butt and we work pretty damn hard to be able to have the things we have. And in a journey, when you're trying to achieve bigger things in life, there's hurdles. Like, there just is, right? And we appreciate the support from everyone. And we've given a lot as well before we receive things, right? Like, one hand washes the other in life, in my opinion, right? One hand washes the other, and sometimes you have to be the one that washes the hand the first, and sometimes, let me go back there. Sometimes the left hand has to wash the right hand first, and other times the right hand washes the left hand first, right? So depending on where you're coming from in life, and there's been people that we've helped out first, and then they came and helped us out. And then there's other people that have helped us out first, and we'll have that, and we'll mark that in our book that we owe them something down the road when they're in need. And that's just how we want life to work, right? It's just, I don't know, one hand washes the other. It makes the world a little bit of a better place. It's just, I don't know, I just think that's how the world's supposed to go. You know, one hand washes the other. There's sometimes when someone else is down and you got to be out there to reach your hand out and pick them up, and there's other times when it's okay to reach your hand out and get picked up. Now, I don't really like putting my hand out, I won't lie. I don't know if it's a pride thing or if it's I don't know, the talkers on the friggin' internet thing that are kind of a pain in the butt to deal with. But that's just the way the world goes. And there's nothing wrong. Okay, I gotta show these. There's this damn squirrel right outside the door. Okay, so, squirrel! I didn't even think about that. It's kind of funny. So, yeah, we're sending out some shirts to some people in need. And these people, they came over and, like, they've supported us before. So, like, there's no reason why we can't go out there and support them. They came out to the track and watched us race and this and that. And when there's times when they need to pick me up, hey, we'll go out there and we'll try to pick them up as well. So that's just how that goes. Now, I'm going to head over to Jan-Cen, drop off these cranks and get a little bit of a game plan, figure out what other parts that we need. I'm probably going to do a blower style intake manifold. A friend of ours has one, but if you guys have like a Indy style standard deck, standard spread, not a spread port, standard intake style intake spread, I guess you could say, standard big block Chevy standard deck, Indy style blower manifold, ones with a little bit longer intake runner, or there was another kind, started with an M, I don't know, forgot the name of it. But if you have one of those intake manifolds that you want to sell, preferably used, or something that's, we're going to modify it for a turbo deal. So it could be nicked up, it could be dinged, it could be dented. Our stuff doesn't need to be fancy, it just needs to work. And that's how we make this stuff, keep this journey going. So if you know of that, if you know of a tubing bender, I'm going to have to make the, I'm going to have to come up with one pretty damn shortly for the roll cage tubing, so we could back half the 34, reback half that thing, and then we got to eventually do Maddie's car, the Chevy 2. So if you know of any like first gen Chevy 2 stuff, like 62 to 64, something like that, Chevy 2 parts that you have for sale, preferably used or new but second-hand kind of thing, that you want to that you don't need to get brand new price for, reach out to us. HustlinHorsepower.com is the merchandise. HustlinHorsepower@yahoo.com. I'm gonna get on the road and get to the machine shop. See y'all at the next stop. So guys, I didn't get any video at Jan-Cen, but I just hung out with Mike and Mike Jr., Uncle Joe, and those guys for a little while. So I went and picked up this piston. That piston is for my one motor, and we're going to go doing a little bit of an experiment tonight. I'm gonna have to text my sister and see if Bad Donkey has some Play-Doh that I can borrow, because I need to measure the CC of the dome. Now, this piston manufacturer, parts are getting hard to come by, so I'll explain that real quick. Parts are getting really hard to come by. And this manufacturer is no longer in existence. They were bought out. And now I need to find a piston that's similar to this one. Basically just doing some preventative homework. So that if I need to get some pistons, I know what pistons I need to get. So I gotta weigh this sucker. We got a scale at the house that we use for all the merchandise stuff. They'll get me the weight of the piston. And I also calculated the compression height of the piston. And now I need to measure the dome on this. So here's the flat part right there, but you can see there's a small dome on here, this area right here. So I'm gonna go get some Play-Doh and some water, and we're gonna calculate the amount of cc's that it takes to fill up this impression in the Play-Doh. So that's what I'm gonna do when I get home tonight. And then I know the pin height, which is like essentially compression height of the piston, and know the rod length and all that stuff, because that's all existing stuff. But I want to have more than one spare piston in case something happens. Like I said, parts are getting very hard to come by, so we're gonna go through and do our homework and a little bit of preventative maintenance, since we're not with the car right now. The holidays are coming up, so I'm staying on my mom's couch until the day after Christmas, and then we're probably headed back down south to start working on the Dirty Hustler, I think we're gonna call it. One of the followers said, hey, you should name the new car the Dirty Hustler, because it has the heart of the Dirty 30 and the soul of the homegrown hustler. So we just might name the car the Dirty Hustler. I like straight gangster, but I don't know, maybe Dirty Hustler. Let us know what you think. Now guys, if you like and subscribe to the videos, I appreciate it. Like I said, this is a journey. Not every video is as exciting as the other one, but I always try to add a little bit of information in for you guys, a little bit of something. We're not entertaining. I don't talk in a goofy voice. I don't wear goofy clothes. Maybe I do. I might look a little goofy. Maybe I got that going for me. But we're basically just straight. We're just normal people. We put on our pants the same way as all of you, and but we love racing. This is what we do. Yeah, that's what I love. So we're gonna keep on going as long as this journey will take us. Okay, guys, here we are at Hobby Lobby. I couldn't find a graduated cylinder. They might have one. I couldn't find one, but I found some eyedroppers, and I think I could do a conversion from maybe my mom's I don't know what you'd call it, cooking utensils, you know, like 1 cup of water has to equal X amount of cc's. There's got to be a conversion out there. I'll figure it out. Or like 1 teaspoon has to be like X amount of cc's. So I think I got an eyedropper, and I'll figure this out. We're gonna have a little bit of an experiment tonight.
Since we're up here in New York for the holidays, I stopped by Jan-Cen Motorsports. They have some parts over there on a motor that I've been putting together for about a year now. But with parts delays and budget-wise, it's taken a little bit of time to get everything together. I spent a little time there measuring some things, using some of their tools to figure out some stuff for this other motor that I'm putting together. That motor is going to be another big block Chevy, but I'm changing some things mechanically that I believe will be very beneficial for the backside no prep stuff and limited track, no prep stuff, limited traction, I should say. Now, I'm also going to go up here and talk about the measurements I did using their micrometer, since mine's down in Southern Ohio in my trailer, and explaining how I figured out the compression height of the pistons and the spare piston that I have for my current motor.
I need it.
No! No, don't do that. All right, guys. So I'm going to show you. Okay. We'll do it again when no one gets up here. So I calculated the compression height of 1.45 inches on here. Okay. I know the pin diameter on this is 1.1 inches. A typical big block Chevy is 0.990. Okay. But this one's got a little extra large pin in it. So it's a 1.1. 1 second, Mia. It's a 1.1 inch pin. Okay. You could either measure the wrist pin itself, or you can measure the hole with a micrometer. Okay. Then that was 1.1 inches. So you divide that by 2 to find the center. Okay? So that is 0.55, right? 1.1, 0.55. Okay? Now you measure from the face right here, this right here, this plane right here, to the bottom of the hole. Okay? Then you find that number plus 0.55, and that ended up being 900. Okay?
This is not us.
900 9/100ths. 9/10 of an inch. So that 9/10 of an inch plus 0.55 gives you 1.45, and that's the compression height. Now this is a turbo blower type piston, okay? This is the top ring land here. Got your top ring land, then you got your second ring, and then you got your oil expander ring at the bottom, okay? The compression ring up here is what helps seal all the combustion in the cylinder, okay? Now if this one's about a 1/4 inch, probably about 260 thousandths down from the top. Now they do that so in a normally aspirated, let me go back here for a second. In a normally aspirated application, this ring line can be all the way up at the top for to make it more efficient for a naturally aspirated deal. But you have to have the strength here, otherwise you'll crack this or pinch the ring land. And when you pinch a ring land, you get oil in the cylinder, and that's not good. So you got oil down here, you got the connecting rod and the crank journal and stuff like that down here. Now, if this ring land gets pinched, you'll get oil up past the ring lands and into the combustion chamber, and you'll rattle the piston, and the piston actually will start shaking, and you could crack pistons, you could break pistons, so on and so forth. So you got to have plenty of distance between here and the top for a turbo blower application. These ones are about 260 thousandths, just over a 1/4 inch. Now you can see this one has a slight dome on it, and once Mia comes back with the Play-Doh, me, her, and Bad Donkey are going to measure the CC of this dome. Okay, guys, here we are. I got my mold made. Now I got to relieve it from the mold, and I'll probably have to get back with you in a second after I do this, because it's going to take 2 hands. Well, guys, here is our deal. This is the valve relief here. That's the valve relief, and here is the dome. So I got to measure up this area right through here, and we're going to do that with those eyedroppers that I picked up. So guys, I found this in my mom's cupboard. So I found out today that a milliliter is the same as a cc. So just like they do in the at the doctor's office, I sucked it all up, flipped it up, pressurized it till we got 5 millimeters. So we're gonna put 5 in there. Now we're gonna have to go fill this up again, and we'll see if we could put you on the butter over here so you can see. Oh. I get it back down to 5. That's 5. Put another 5 in there. So we're at 10 cc's. Get the air bubbles to the top, bleed it off. I have 15 cc's and still not bleeding over yet. So this is probably going to be about a 7, I'd be guessing this is probably like a 17 cc dome. So 17 cc's is pretty typical. Okay, I don't know if you can see this here. So there's 17 cc's in there right now, and it's just about up to the face here. Okay, now we got to figure out what that is right there, but we can go and do that here. I'll put it into the piston itself and do the subtraction. I started with 5 cc's and I'm down to about 2 cc's. So that valve relief right there, you can see the water in it. That valve relief right there is basically a 3 cc valve release. So that valve relief is below the deck height. Let's say this is 0 deck. That's 3 cc's minus. Okay, so that takes away from the dome.
which is the relief, okay? So now if we just had this valve relief in there, and this was a complete flat top, it would be a 3cc dish piston, okay? Valve relief would be 3cc, so this would be minus 3 cc's. So we got minus 3 plus 15-ish to 0 deck height, okay? So this right here, that right there is the equivalent to that right there, okay? Now this is inverse, so it's all backwards, okay? So we got to measure what's in here. This is 15, okay? If this was all filled in here, it'd be about 18 cc dome, but it's not, okay? So, because you got the valve relief, it's minus. So this right here is just 15 cc, 15 to 17 cc dome. Okay guys, looking from this profile here, this is the area that goes into the cylinder head in the combustion chamber, and this area is below the cylinder pressure. Your cylinder head would essentially bolt down to the same face as this. Now you got your gasket thickness and so on and so forth, but I'm making it a little bit simpler for you guys. Now, this is the area that takes away from the combustion chamber, and this area adds to the combustion chamber, okay? Now, the cylinder heads, the Trick-Flow 365cc cylinder heads that we have 119cc combustion chamber, okay? 119 cc's. Then we know this is 17 cc's, and this is 3 cc's. This surface right here is deck height. This is plus into the combustion chamber, and this is minus for the valve relief, okay? We just calculated that this is plus 17, and this is minus 3, okay? So 17 minus 3 is 14, okay? So we know we need to have something with a compression height of 1.45. Yeah, I should probably fix that right there. It's actually 1.45, but it's really hard to do this while looking through a camera. 1.45 and 14 cc's plus 14 cc's. All right, so now we know we need to find a piston that's got a compression height of 1.45 and 14 cc's. Now, if it's 13, it's not ideal. If it's 15, it's not ideal. But hey, they would work, okay? So, now we gotta weigh it. So here we are, guys. Now that we know the compression height, the cc's, we need to know the weight. So it's 788 grams. Now we'll put it on the other scale and verify. Okay guys, now that we have all the important information, the compression height of it, the volume of the piston, and the weight of the piston, the weight really comes in the factor for the balance of the motor. So now that we have all that information, we could start the hunt to find different manufacturers that make a piston that's very similar to this one. It's part of the problems that we see in all of motorsports and manufacturing in general in today's, I don't know, in the world we're living in today. On top of this company no longer in business, so I guess it adds a couple little more steps to it. But it is what it is, and that's what it takes to keep this journey going. If you like what these videos are about, or if you just want to support in any way, shape, or form, like and subscribe, and every little bit helps keep the journey going. So if you liked and want to follow the ride, like and subscribe. We appreciate it, guys. Thank you.